Beloved, life is a game, and money, like health, love, and joy, is but a token on the board. If the game is played by divine law, the tokens arrive in abundance. If it is played in fear, they vanish like smoke in the wind. Today I speak to you of the most dangerous words that bar the gates to your supply. They are not curses uttered in anger, but seeds sown in casual conversation, seeds that take root in the soil of your subconscious and grow into towering weeds that choke the harvest. Beloved, in the great game of life, the tongue is the player's most powerful tool. The ancient scriptures declare, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." Your words are not idle chatter, they are the invisible architects of your destiny. Each syllable you speak is a seed cast into the fertile soil of the subconscious, and it will sprout, whether you have planted roses or thorns. I tell you today, your word is your wand. With it, you conjure the beauty of your life or summon the shadows. There is no middle ground. You are either blessing your path with the language of faith or cursing it with the language of fear. And the most dangerous curse against your prosperity is spoken casually, thoughtlessly, and with no awareness of its cost. It is the phrase, "I can't afford it." When you utter those words, you are not simply making a financial observation. You are making a spiritual decree. You are telling the infinite supply of God, "There is not enough for me." And the law of mind, which never argues, takes your decree and fashions it into your reality. The invisible messengers of your subconscious scatter to bring you circumstances that will match the command. Doors close, opportunities vanish, and even the blessings already within reach slip away like water between your fingers. Think for a moment. The universe is an endless ocean of substance. God's warehouse is infinite, stocked with every form of good you could ever desire. Money, ideas, opportunities, friendships, open doors. To say, "I can't afford it," is to stand on the shore of that ocean, holding a thimble, and declare, "This is all the water there is." How absurd! The limitation is never in the supply. It is only in the vessel you present for filling. And that vessel is your consciousness, shaped and sized by your words. You may say, "But it's only a fact. My bank account says 0. My dear, facts change, truth does not. The truth is that you live and move in the abundance of God. The truth is that your supply is spiritual, and it is only awaiting your recognition to take form in the physical. The bank account is but a picture of past thinking, a photograph of yesterday's consciousness. Change your thought and your speech today, and tomorrow's picture must change to match it. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "Your word is your wand. The words you speak create your destiny. When you speak lack, you create lack. When you speak plenty, you create plenty." Words are vibratory seeds, and like always produces like. You cannot plant the seed of, "I can't afford it," and harvest the crop of, "I have more than enough." I have seen souls transformed in the instant they changed their words. A woman once came to me, despairing over her finances. Every sentence out of her mouth was painted with shortage. "I never have enough, it's too expensive. I can't keep up." I told her plainly, "You are writing your own poverty script, and the stage of life is simply performing it for you." I instructed her to strike from her vocabulary every word of lack, and replace it with words of abundance. When she was tempted to say, "I can't afford it," she would instead say, "It is not yet mine by divine timing, but it is coming to me in perfect ways." She began declaring, "I have more than enough money for all my needs. Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. I am a magnet for divine supply." Within months, unexpected checks arrived. New clients appeared, and debts melted away. The only thing that had changed was her language. And because her language changed, her consciousness changed. And because her consciousness changed, her circumstances followed like a shadow follows the body. I tell you this because the law is impartial. It does not care who you are, where you were born, or what you have been through. It cares only for the seeds you plant. If you plant weeds of lack, you will reap lack. If you plant the roses of plenty, you will walk in gardens of abundance. The tongue is the hand that plants, and the soil never refuses a seed. So guard your words as you would guard a treasure chest. Speak only those things you wish to see bloom in your life. If you desire wealth, let your words drip with wealth. If you long for freedom, let your speech be saturated with freedom. Every conversation is an act of creation. Every sentence is a thread in the tapestry of your destiny. Say often, I am the rich child of a rich father. My supply is endless, inexhaustible, and immediate. I draw from the infinite, and I am lavishly supplied. Feel these words as though they are already true, for in the unseen they already are. The unseen is the root, the seen is the blossom. Tend to the root with your words, and the blossom must appear. Do not speak of what you fear. Do not rehearse the drama of debt, the tragedy of shortage, the misery of not enough. If such thoughts arise, transmute them instantly. I am supplied. I have all that I need. The money I require is already on its way. This is not fantasy. It is alignment with spiritual fact. The most dangerous words that block your money blessing are the words you speak against yourself and your supply. Your tongue is the scepter of your kingdom. With it, you command wealth to approach or retreat. You are the high priest of your own temple, and your words are the offerings you lay upon the altar. Lay there only the offerings of faith, gratitude, and abundance, and the God of plenty will answer in kind. So today cast away, I can't afford it, forever. Lift your wand, your word, and write in the air of spirit, I can afford all that is mine by divine right. I am lavishly supplied. My life is overflowing with good, and as surely as night follows day, your outer world will bow to your inner decree. From the burning bush came the voice of God declaring, I am Tate I am. These words are the eternal name of the infinite, and the moment you speak them, you are calling forth the creative power of the same spirit that hung the stars and called the earth into being. I am is the key that opens the door to the kingdom within, but this key will open the gates of heaven or the prisons of hell, depending on what you attach to it. Many use the I am in ignorance. They bind this holy name to poverty, sickness, or fear, and then wonder why their lives are littered with the very things they did not want. When you say, I am broke, you unite your divine identity with lack. When you say, I am struggling, you write struggle across the tablet of your soul. The subconscious mind, which is the faithful servant of the I am, takes these words as a direct order and sets about creating them in your world. Understand this: the moment you speak, I am, you have left the realm of wishing and entered the realm of being. You have placed a crown upon your head and declared yourself king or pauper, and your reality will serve you accordingly. It is not enough to wish for abundance while calling yourself poor. In the same breath, you cannot drink from the fountain of life while filling your cup with poison. You may say, but I must be realistic. My purse is empty. My dear, reality is not what your senses tell you. It is what spirit tells you. The purse is the effect. The I am is the cause. Change the cause and the effect must follow. The purse is empty because the mind has been declaring emptiness. Reverse the declaration, and the purse will reverse its condition. This is the law. The law is no respecter of persons, only of words and states of being. If you say, I am rich in divine ideas, and these ideas produce endless streams of prosperity, the law must obey. It will move people, events, and opportunities into place to match your new identity. It will open doors you did not knock on, and cause strangers to bless you in ways you could never have scripted. I once knew a man who constantly declared, I am always broke. He said it laughingly, as though it were a joke. But the subconscious does not understand humor. It only hears the decree. And so life made sure to give him bills without money. needs without provision, opportunities without the means to seize them. When he understood the power of the I am, he changed his tune. He began declaring, I am well supplied. I am prosperous in every way. I am wealthy in friends, ideas, and money. Within months, his finances began to turn. Unexpected work came, debts were cleared, and his whole countenance changed. He walked taller, spoke brighter, and drew people to him as a magnet draws iron. You see, wealth begins not in the bank, but in the bloodstream of your identity. It begins the moment you attach abundance to I am, and refuse to let any contrary declaration pass your lips. Even if the outer world still shows lack, you stand in the inner world declaring the truth. I am abundance. I am opulence. I am the rich child of a rich father, and I inherit all that my father has. Every time you speak, I am, imagine it as a seed planted in the invisible garden of your life. Attach to it only what you wish to harvest. If you want roses, plant I am roses. If you want orchards heavy with fruit, plant I am fruitful, but never plant weeds and expect blossoms. The I am cannot produce outside the seed it carries. Perhaps you have spoken I am in ignorance for years. Do not condemn yourself, for condemnation is just another form of attachment to lack. Instead, rejoice that you now hold the key in your hand. Today you can plant anew. Today, you can speak the words that will build a palace instead of a prison. Say aloud now, I am the abundance of God in expression. I am health, wealth, and joy. I am open and receptive to every form of good. I am the heir to infinite supply, and my wealth is manifesting now. Let these words be more than sound. Let them be a feeling. Stand in them. Wear them like a robe. Breathe them into every cell of your being. For the subconscious does not simply hear words. It responds to the conviction behind them. The I am is your passport to any land you choose to enter. Attach to it poverty, and you will cross into the country of lack. Attach to it wealth, and you will walk the golden streets of abundance. The choice is ever yours. Your mouth holds the pen that writes your destiny, and the I am is the first line of every sentence. Write wisely, beloved. Speak only those I am declarations you wish to live in, for the law of mind is faithful, and it will always give you what you have claimed. So from this moment forward, banish every unworthy phrase that follows I am. Let your every declaration be a banner of victory, and as surely as dawn follows night, your outer life will rise to match the majesty of your inner word. Beloved, I tell you a truth that will change the way you see the world. Your imagination is not a plaything, it is your invisible bank account. It holds the riches of your future, and from it, all visible supply is withdrawn. Before money ever comes into your hand, it must first come into your mind. Before the house stands in stone, it stands in thought. Before the harvest ripens in the field, the seed rests unseen in the earth. Most people guard their purses more carefully than they guard their thoughts. They will balance a checkbook to the penny, yet let their imagination run wild with pictures of lack, debt, and delay. They forget that life is lived from the inside out, that the outer is but the mirror of the inner. If the pictures in your mind are small, fearful, and restricted, the world will faithfully reflect them back to you in the form of limited opportunities and strained finances. Your imagination is the treasury of God within you. Every scene you hold there is a deposit. When you imagine yourself struggling to pay bills, you are making a withdrawal before you have deposited anything. When you rehearse the scenes of just getting by, you are spending your wealth in advance and wondering why nothing remains. But when you see yourself walking freely in the life you desire, surrounded by beauty, paying for all things with ease, blessing others with your overflow, you are crediting your invisible account with substance that must, by divine law, appear in form. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. This is the law. You will never have beyond the picture you hold of yourself. The world will always pay you the salary your imagination says you are worth. If you wish to increase your visible balance, you must first increase the balance of your inner picture. Neville Goddard taught that the imagination is God in action. When you imagine, you are not pretending. You are creating in the invisible, and the invisible is the womb of the visible. Just as surely as the child in the womb will be born in due time, the image you hold in feeling will be born into your life. But here lies the danger: the imagination is always working, whether you guide it or not. Many have allowed it to become a default projector of worry and fear. They play endless films of unpaid bills, disappointing news, and missed chances, and then are shocked when life delivers the same scenes on the stage of reality. But life is only doing its job, bringing forth into form the pictures you have ordered. So I say to you, become the watchman of your imagination. Guard it as you would guard a vault of gold. Refuse to let the images of lack and defeat rent space in your mind. Each time an unwelcome picture appears, replace it instantly with one of abundance and fulfillment. If you see yourself struggling, change the film. See yourself smiling at a bill you have just paid in full. If you see yourself longing for what you do not have, shift the picture. See yourself holding it, using it, enjoying it now. Here is a practice tonight. Before you sleep, enter the I am meditation. Close your eyes and breathe gently. Whisper to yourself, I am wealth. I am abundance. I am the heir to the kingdom of God. Then step into the scene that would follow if your desire were fulfilled. See yourself walking through your beautiful home, or depositing a large check, or giving joyfully to someone in need. Do not merely watch, participate. Touch the walls, feel the fabric of the chair, hear the laughter of those you have blessed. Let every sense be involved until it feels as real as your waking world. Fall asleep in possession of it, and your subconscious will work through the night to bring it into being. I recall a woman who longed for financial freedom but was surrounded by evidence of lack. She told me, "It's hard to imagine wealth when all I see are bills." I said, "That is precisely why you must imagine. The bills are the picture of yesterday's thinking. If you wish tomorrow to look different, you must give your mind a new picture today." She began to practice nightly, imagining herself walking into her favorite store, buying what she desired without glancing at the price tag. She saw herself signing checks with ease and joy. Within months, a new position opened for her with a salary double her own, and unexpected inheritances came into her life. Her invisible bank account had been overflowing long before her physical one caught up. Your imagination is the vault of God's riches, and you are the sole keeper of the key. Every day, you make deposits or withdrawals with the images you allow yourself to dwell upon. If you keep picturing shortage, you will always find your purse light. But if you continually deposit visions of abundance, freedom, and generosity, your invisible account will grow beyond measure, and the visible world will have no choice but to match it. So today, I bid you, spend lavishly in imagination. Pay for the things you desire with joy in the unseen. Give to others in your mind until it overflows into reality. Let your invisible bank account be so full of rich pictures that the outer must rush to keep pace. For what you see within, with feeling and faith, you will surely hold without, and in that moment, you will know that the wealth of the world was always yours. It was only waiting for you to imagine it so. Beloved, I tell you, the invisible currents of life are drawn to you, not by chance, not by toil, but by expectation. You are a living magnet, and what you expect, with feeling and belief, you inevitably attract. This is the divine law, as unfailing as gravity, as certain as the sunrise. You may say you hope for good, but hope without expectation is a faint wish that fades like smoke. The universe answers not to the half-hearted request, but to the confident decree. When your heart is charged with expectation, it sends out a signal stronger than words, stronger than action alone. It declares, "This is mine, and it comes to me now." Expectation is not mere optimism. It is the quiet certainty that the thing you desire is already on its way. It is the inner knowing that the seed you have planted in thought will ripen into form. The farmer who sows wheat does not pace the field wondering if perhaps turnips will come up instead. He expects wheat, and because he expects it, he recognizes it the moment the first green shoots break the earth. So it is with your supply. The expectation shapes the form and prepares you to receive it. If you expect shortage, shortage will march into your life without hesitation. If you expect bills, the postman will be faithful to deliver them. If you expect abundance, opportunities will find you in the most unexpected places. Life does not argue, it delivers what you have prepared the table to receive. I once knew a man who claimed to desire success, but spent his days rehearsing defeat. He expected clients to cancel, checks to bounce, and opportunities to vanish, and life, being a dutiful servant, granted his every unspoken wish. When I told him, "You must expect the best with the same certainty you expect the sun to rise," he laughed and said, "That's not realistic." Yet the so-called realistic expectation had kept him chained to lack. When he finally dared to expect good, and to act as if it were certain, the whole tide of his affairs shifted. Expectation works in harmony with faith. Faith sees the unseen, expectation knows it will soon be seen. Faith is the root, expectation is the blossom that promises fruit. Without expectation, faith remains an untapped well. With expectation, faith becomes a flowing river, carrying your supply swiftly to you. But here is the subtle danger: many imagine they are expecting abundance, yet their inner conversations betray them. They say, "Yes, I believe good is coming," but in the secret chambers of the mind they ask, "What if it doesn't? What if I'm disappointed?" The moment doubt creeps in, the magnet weakens, and the current of supply is slowed. You cannot expect wealth with one breath and rehearse scarcity with the next. The law will take the stronger of the two vibrations, and often, it is fear that people feed the most. So train yourself to expect the good with unwavering certainty. Begin each morning declaring, "Today, divine supply meets me at every turn. I expect miracles, I expect increase. I expect the windows of heaven to open and pour me out a blessing." Say it not as a wish, but as a truth. For in the realm of spirit, what you expect in faith is already accomplished. Expectation is not passive, it is active preparation. When you expect a guest, you set the table, tidy the room, and prepare a welcome. In the same way, when you expect your supply, you take steps as if it were already here. You make room in your life for the good you have claimed. If you expect increase in business, you prepare your systems for more customers. If you expect a new home, you begin sorting and clearing as though the move were certain. These actions are the outer signs of your inner certainty. I knew a woman who longed for a position that paid her double her current wage. She prayed and affirmed, but always with a shadow of doubt. I told her, expectation is the missing key. Begin to act as though the job is yours. Speak of it as though it has come. Make space for the new schedule. Imagine yourself already there. She followed the instruction, and within weeks, the very position appeared, offered to her without competition. Her preparation was her proclamation, and the law responded. Conclusion: expectation is the magnet that draws your supply. Without it, you are like a ship with its sails furled, drifting wherever the tide takes you. With it, you are a vessel driven by a steady wind toward the harbor of your desire. What you truly expect, not merely wish for, must come to pass, for the law of mind is bound to fulfill it. So I say to you now, drop every expectation of lack, delay, and disappointment. Replace them with the joyous certainty that good is rushing toward you even now. Let your words, your actions, and your inner pictures all declare, "I expect abundance. I expect success. I expect the fulfillment of my desires by divine right and in perfect time." And as surely as the dawn chases away the night, your life will rise to meet the greatness you have dared to expect. Your words are the chisels that shape the stone of your destiny. Each sentence you speak is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. And yet, many paint pictures they do not wish to see, carve shapes they do not wish to live in, all because they have not learned the sacred discipline of the tongue. You may pray for abundance with one breath, yet cancel it with the next by declaring, "I can't afford that," "I never have enough," or "Things never work out for me." Such phrases are not harmless chatter. They are orders sent to the universal storehouse. The great law does not judge whether your words are careless or intentional. It only hears the command and sets it in motion. When you say, "I can't afford it," the law says, "Very well, you shall not." When you declare, "Money slips through my fingers," the law makes it so. I have met those who wonder why their prayers seem unanswered. Upon listening to them speak for a few minutes, the answer reveals itself. They plant the seed of faith in the morning and uproot it before nightfall with words of doubt, fear, and limitation. They cry for rain, yet they cover their gardens with tarpaulins. The tongue is a mighty power. It can build your fortune or shatter it. Remove from your vocabulary every phrase that denies your good. "I can't," "I never," "It's impossible," and "if only," from the book of your life. Replace them with the language of the kingdom, words that affirm what is possible through the infinite supply of spirit. If you must speak of a challenge, speak of it as conquered. Say, "This too shall pass and bless me," instead of, "This always happens to me." Speak of your wealth as increasing, your health as radiant, your life as guided. For in truth, these are the realities in the unseen, waiting only for your agreement to appear in the scene. I once knew a woman who habitually said, "I'm always broke by the end of the month." She laughed as if it were a joke, but the law took her at her word. Month after month, the pattern repeated, as precise as clockwork. When I instructed her to instead affirm, "I always have more than enough to spare and share," she resisted at first, saying it felt untrue. But I told her, "Speak it until it feels true, for the spoken word builds the bridge between belief and reality." She obeyed, and in time, the month ended with surplus instead of lack. Your words are the containers in which your blessings are delivered. Small words, small blessings. Expansive words, expansive blessings. If you speak only of scraping by, the law will fill that little vessel and no more. But if you declare, "My supply is endless, my opportunities overflow, my life is a banquet," you enlarge the cup you hold out to the universe, and it will be filled to the brim and spilling over. Guard also the hidden words of the heart. You may not speak them aloud, but the silent phrases you rehearse in your mind carry the same creative force. Saying to yourself, "I'm not lucky," "I'll probably fail," or "People like me don't succeed," is like scattering weeds among your flowers, and weeds do not need much encouragement to grow. When you feel the urge to speak a limiting phrase, stop and choose another. If you are about to say, "I can't afford it," change it to, "It is not a priority for me at the moment, but the money for all my desires flows to me freely." If you are tempted to declare, "I'm so unlucky," replace it with, "Everything is always working out for my highest good." This is not deception, it is alignment with the truth of spirit, which knows no limitation. Some will say, "But I must speak realistically." And I answer, reality is shaped by the words you speak. What you call real is simply the manifestation of what was once spoken and believed. If you would change your reality, you must first change your vocabulary. I recall a man who, upon losing his job, said to me, "It's hopeless." I told him, "Then hopeless it will be, unless you put a guard upon your lips." I instructed him to affirm, "I am divinely guided to my perfect position. Doors open for me in unexpected ways." Within weeks, An opportunity appeared that was far better than the one he had lost. He said, "It's like magic," and I replied, "It is the magic of your own word." Conclusion: the tongue is the rudder of your ship. Speak lack, and you will steer into barren waters. Speak abundance, and you will sail into harbors rich with treasure. Every word is a decree, and every decree is fulfilled by the law of mind. Therefore, speak only that which you desire to see. Let your words be rich, expansive, and aligned with the infinite good that is your birthright. From this day forward, cast out every limiting phrase. When you catch yourself uttering one, stop and replace it instantly with a statement of truth. In time, your speech will become a constant stream of affirmation, and your life will mirror it with abundance upon abundance. Remember always, you are the commander. Procrastination is the thief of opportunity. The moment you delay, the door you were meant to walk through begins to close. Spirit often whispers a divine instruction, a nudge, a sudden idea, and in that instant, the way is prepared before you. But if you hesitate, reason steps in, fear begins to speak, and the golden moment slips away. The law of demonstration is quick to respond when we are quick to obey. The universe does not deal in someday, it deals in now. The idea that comes to you in a flash is a seed already ripe to be planted. If you wait for the perfect time, you signal to the law that you are not ready, and the energy that was gathered for your blessing disperses. How many blessings are lost because someone said, "I'll start tomorrow"? Tomorrow is a myth. It does not exist in spirit. There is only the eternal present, and the present is where miracles happen. To act immediately upon divine guidance is to align yourself with the flow of supply and opportunity. The delay is where doubt breeds. The instant act is where faith proves itself. I once knew a man who prayed for a new business opportunity. One day, a friend mentioned a small shop for sale at a modest price. The man's heart leapt. He knew this was his opening. Yet he said, "I'll think about it. I'll check again next week." By the time he returned, the shop had been sold to someone else. Someone who moved the moment inspiration struck. The man lamented his loss, but it was no mystery. He had delayed his own blessing. The great truth is this: when the Spirit gives you an inner command, the provision for its success has already been prepared. Your only part is to move your feet before the mind can talk you out of it. The human mind says, "Be careful, wait until you have more facts, make sure it is safe." The Spirit says, "Step out now, for the path will appear as you walk." Immediate action is not recklessness, it is obedience to divine timing. I have seen people sit on brilliant ideas until they wither, only to watch another bring them forth and prosper. The idea is never lost to the universe, but it can be lost to you if you will not move when called. In my own life, I have learned to leap at the inner command. Many times I have been guided to make a purchase, to call upon a certain person, or to change my plans without delay. And always, the reason reveals itself in a blessing I could not have planned. A woman once told me she felt compelled to leave her house and walk a certain street. She could not explain it, but she obeyed. There, she met an old acquaintance who offered her exactly the kind of work she had been seeking. Had she waited until later, that meeting would never have happened. The law rewards the swift with multiplied returns. Just as a seed must be planted in its season, so must an action be taken in its appointed moment. If you receive a divine idea and act at once, you harness the full power of the spiritual momentum behind it. Delay, and that momentum fades, like wind leaving the sails. When you hear the inner voice say, "Do it now," refuse to argue. You may not see the whole staircase, but take the first step and the next will appear. The unseen forces that orchestrate your good are waiting to meet you at the point of action. Stand still too long, and they move on to another who is ready. Those who prosper greatly are those who marry faith with immediate movement. They do not merely dream, they leap. They do not wait for perfect clarity, they trust that clarity will come in motion. They understand that Spirit's timing is flawless, and that to hesitate is to miss the miracle. Perhaps you have delayed something your heart has been urging you to do. Perhaps you have told yourself the time is not right, or you must wait until you have more money, more knowledge, more confidence. Yet the truth is that the supply, the wisdom, the courage you need will rush to meet you only after you move. The door opens for the one who walks toward it, not for the one who stands waiting for it to open first. I recall another story of a woman who longed to teach but feared she was unqualified. One morning, she awoke with a strong inner push to rent a small space for classes. Without knowing how she would fill it, she acted that very day. Within a week, students began to enroll, and within a month, she had a thriving practice. She said to me, "If I had waited until I felt ready, I would still be waiting." That is the way of Spirit. Readiness comes in the doing, not the waiting. Conclusion in the game of life. Hesitation is defeat. Spirit delivers its messages like a knock at the door, and if you do not open quickly, the visitor moves on. Your good is always moving toward you, but it requires your movement toward it. The longer you delay, the more you signal that you are not yet prepared to receive. So from this day forward, let your new law be this: I act on divine guidance without delay. Let those words be a decree to your subconscious mind. When the idea comes, when the opportunity presents itself, move at once. Do not consult your fears, consult your faith. For faith without action is a bird without wings, and action without delay is the flight that carries you into your promised good. The moment you act in obedience to Spirit, the way will open before you, the provision will appear, and you will find yourself standing in the very place you once only dreamed of. Delay no longer, for your miracle is waiting, and it will not wait forever. Of your fate, and your words are the orders to your unseen army. Speak wisely, speak richly, and the universe will echo your decree in the language of fulfilled desire. When a man or woman awakens to the truth of their divine inheritance, the chains of limitation fall away. Too long have people wandered the wilderness of waiting, waiting for a sign, waiting for a miracle, waiting for the economy to change, waiting for someone else to open the door to their good. But I tell you this day, you are the operant power of your supply. The power that makes worlds is not somewhere far away. It is within you, quickening every thought, coloring every image, and shaping every word that leaves your lips. Most live as though God were withholding, as though the blessings of life were rationed and only dispensed after much begging and toil. But the truth is this: God finished His work from the foundation of the world. The supply you seek already exists, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. The storehouses of heaven are overflowing, but they open at the sound of your faith, not your fear. You are not a beggar at the gates of heaven. You are the heir of the kingdom, the rich child of a rich father. Think for a moment of the sun. Does it wait for your permission to shine? Does it select a chosen few and leave the rest in darkness? No, its rays fall impartially, without restraint. Yet a man may choose to stay indoors with the curtains drawn, and then say, "The sun is not shining for me." So it is with divine supply. God is always radiating abundance, but it is your consciousness, your inner state, that determines how much you receive. If you live behind the curtains of doubt, resentment, and fear, you cannot feel the warmth. But when you fling those curtains open with praise, gratitude, and faith, you stand in the full light of provision. Many say, "I am waiting on God to bless me." Yet the truth is, God is waiting on you to assume the blessing. This is the great law. You must first receive it in consciousness before you can receive it in the outer world. The moment you accept in the invisible, the visible begins to rearrange itself to reflect your inner decree. If you need money, begin by feeling yourself already in possession of it, not as a desperate longing, but as a quiet certainty. Walk as one who is well supplied. Pay your bills in the mind with joy and gratitude, seeing each transaction as proof that your supply flows without obstruction. The world mirrors your inner posture. If you stand tall in plenty, plenty must come to you. You may ask, but what if I do not see any evidence? My friend, do not measure your faith by appearances. Appearances are the last to change. If you plant a seed, you do not dig it up the next morning to see if it has sprouted. You water it, tend it, and trust the law of growth. In the same way, hold the image of abundance within, and the unseen law will cause it to manifest in perfect time. Remember this: all supply is divine substance, and divine substance is inexhaustible. When you know yourself as the operant power, you no longer fear that money will run out, opportunities will dry up, or blessings will be taken away. You understand that you are plugged into the infinite source, and no one can cut the cord but you, through doubt, fear, or careless speech. So speak as a master, not a victim. Declare, I am the rich child of a rich father, and all that is mine by divine right is now released to me in perfect ways. I walk in plenty, I live in plenty, I think in plenty, and I am supplied from the invisible storehouse of God. Nothing can be withheld from me, for I am one with the giver of all good. Hold fast to these truths in the face of contradiction, and life must yield. Just as the tide obeys the pull of the moon, your supply must obey the pull of your assumption. For assumption is faith in motion. It is the invisible hand that molds substance into form. I have seen those who once cried in poverty rise to heights of prosperity when they took their place as the operant power. They stopped waiting for outer permission and began acting as though they already possessed the blessing. They sowed, they gave, they praised, they acted. And as they acted, the law responded. This is the final word God has already given. The storehouses of heaven are open. The rivers of supply are flowing. The banquet table is set, but the chair will not pull itself out for you. You must walk forward, claim your seat, and dine as the beloved child of the King. No longer speak of waiting. No longer bow to appearances. Stand in your royal authority, for you are not at the mercy of chance. You are the decree maker, the channel, the vessel through which divine abundance pours. The most dangerous delusion is that you are powerless. The most glorious truth is that you are not. You are the operant power of your supply, and the moment you know it, nothing on earth or in heaven can block your money blessing.